Hi, Vladimir. Can you hear me?
Hi, Benny. How are you?
I'm okay.
Okay. Did you sleep at least a little?
I did.
Oh, great.
I woke up naturally. So
Oh, wonderful.
I think when I set the alarm, I'm anxious about it, and that keeps me from sleeping.
Yeah.
The
Yes.
worst thing.
You know, there is something which may help you to sleep. I don't want to kind of impose any idea, but I'm using these. First of all, I sleep also very bad. I can't sleep. Yeah. And there is something. Hi, Janani. I'm using these. I put 2 stickers on my here on these places, you know, the head, which are designed specially. They're made in the laboratory for kind of calming the mind and the brain, and it works really. It works much better for me. I can direct you if you have that problem. If that is not a problem, only the throat, then of course it's another question. But it helps to relax, really. And
No, why don't you send me some information about it? I'll check it out.
yeah, I took it from our friends we have here who are having the whole clinic for all kind of things they do to electrical, body electric, so to say. And it helped me a lot. I can sleep at least.
Good. Thank you.
All right. And also you have to use glasses against this light, strong light from the computer, yeah? Because it's a killer. You have to have special glasses. I am using no special glasses and it helps.
Yeah, that makes a big difference for me. Really.
You mean the yellow glasses? The
yeah, or for computer screen.
Yeah.
They're specifically there for.
Yeah, but my computer changes to that color.
I think it's not only color, it's also something else, UV waves. So you need to have this glass. Yeah, color is good. Yes, it helps. Color also calms down, and yeah, computer changes correct. Well, anyhow, for every time using computer, better these glasses, which are kind of removing those harmful waves. All right, here we are. Let's start with mantra. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu, sarvesham shantir bhavatu, sarvesham purnam bhavatu, sarvesham mangalam bhavatu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Okay, we were in this, we discussed these 4 vowels and 5 vowels actually. Each vowel belonged to a particular varga. Yeah? So if you look at the alphabet, I can open also Sanskrit alphabet and without these. Wait a minute, I'll take it from here. This is the phonetics all. And if you look closer at them, we will see that something is happening. So each varga is somehow a general meaning. Here it is. So we can see that there is the whole level of different modifications. So ka, kha, ga, gha, nga, ha, ha, and a. They are on the same level. Even a, though it is only vibration of the vocal cords, considered to be by shiksha, by many shikshas, not only one, belonging to different traditions, different samhitas, different pratishakyas. The a is considered to be back tongue, so to say, kantha. Sthana, so Kantias. They are all Kakhagag, though we can see the difference. Kakhagaganga is the back tongue, but Nga and Aha, it has no tongue. It's just the friction by the breath, because to make a consonant out of is quite remarkable. We have to make some friction, some stop. How could we do stop with vocal cords? By the way, it's a mysterious last sutra of Panini, because, and it is always, I never could totally understand why he put that last sutra, because this, huh?
You can ask Dr. Cardona.
We can discuss this, yes, why that is standing there. I tried to discuss with many scholars and you know, but it never could really, they don't know really. There are so many interpretations and
right.
But what is interesting is here how to create consonant out of a. It's easy to create consonant out of any vowel except a, because a has no tongue, no lips, no nothing, teeth. It's just vibration of vocal cords. So Taittiriya Pratishakya finds a very interesting answer that the ha is actually that particular consonant of a. Yeah? So we could consider that antastha, or these semi-vowels, are yara, lava, and ha. So ha is semi-vowel of a, and if we analyze how it is being produced, we can see that it is true. So ha, it's the friction we create by breath. So we make a stop by breath within the vocal cords. So using this, it's quite remarkable. But here in ya, we don't need to do it. We just press tongue stronger to the palate, and it creates that stop. Ya, it's e, which is making ya. Then ri, ra, li, la, and wu, u, va. Va. About va, I also have to say a few words. Which is always confusing for English speaking. There is no difference between wa and va in Sanskrit. So va, which is dental labial, and wa, which is purely labial, are considered to be what we call allophones. Allophones, the varieties of the same phonetic.
So it's optional to the speaker, which they do?
Yeah, it is in a certain position. It will be easier to say wa, in certain position va. Like vadati, not wadati.
Right.
But for example, swar will be swar, yes, not svar. And swar is quite clear because it is independent svarita, so it must be suar. Yes, there are two components which made swar. I'm speaking in terms of Rigvedic language, not afterwards, and not in the classical terms. So you have swar, this wa. This is not svar. And
so usually it seems after the sibilants, it goes more to the W sound.
Maybe I didn't think about it.
Saraswati.
Huh?
It seems like Saraswati.
Saraswati.
It's wa, not va. It's not a Saraswati. Saraswati. Swarashi. Swati. Seems like
maybe they're even writing it like this in English. Swadharma or Swabhava.
Right, exactly.
They would W. Yes, correct. Yeah, could be. Truly speaking, one should examine this, why it is so, why that sibilant is creating that necessity of
another one for Dr. Cardona. That would be a good question.
I also wonder, because it could be in different dialects, Sanskrit has so many dialects.
I wonder that too.
So different people coming from different states, pradeshas, so everyone has its own kind of preference. For example, if you come to Orissa, there will be totally different Sanskrit than Bengal or Tamil Nadu or you know. So Maharashtra, everyone has some particularity, especially even sometimes very strong, like Orissa. They don't have, you know, the difference between sh, s, and sh. So they would say rishi, rishi for rishi, and so on. So very,
Yeah,
very.
I've heard people do that. I couldn't understand what they were doing.
And they belong to that culture, to that particular dialect. All these dialects, Oriya, all these languages which appeared, they appeared as Prakrits of Sanskrit, you know.
Yeah.
So then how does let's say Shuddha Sanskrit wind up getting perpetuated if now there's regional? I mean, the whole idea of it was there was an agreement on what the sound would be, and so it was successfully transmitted all of these thousands of years. Are we now saying that's breaking down, or is there still agreement among, let's say, the pundits in terms of what it must be in terms of perpetuation?
Well, there are shikshas, there are pratishakyas, which are determining how to pronounce sounds in terms of chandas, yes? But otherwise, there is kind of prakritic freedom, you know, every nation speaks they speak their own Sanskrit, and there is nothing wrong about it. You know, it's kind of a modulation, as you have different accents in the United States. So from different states you will recognize people from Alabama immediately, yes, because of the
Well, except, but sorry here, trying to be the fundamentalist, except in terms of propitiation, and in terms of chanting Veda, and in terms of
sure, but there is a limitation.
Can't have people, you know, pronouncing vowels like they're from Alabama, you know. And that just doesn't work if we're truly saying that the whole Namarupa, the whole creation is depending on that link between sound and form. If the sound starts to deviate all over the place, then...
If it is totally deviating, yes. But if it is only allophone, we have this kind of term in the general linguistics, yeah, the modification of the same phone. So to say, it is but some people pronounce it as this as this, you know, and There are so many varieties of ye. In Tamil Nadu, they will say ye tat, yeah. So you know, and others will say tad, very long down, and there's in the middle, and there's nearly to e. These are all varieties of the same phonetic representation unit. And of course, we are treating them, we recognize this as a dialect or as a particular way of pronouncing the sound. We are talking about Sanskrit as the matrix of sounds. We take our apparatus and see where we articulate those sounds. They are representatives of particular efforts in a particular way and in a particular sthana. So there is no even alphabet, there is no ABC. Yeah, it is. I could say there is kantya kara, yeah, alpaprana, and then it will be ka. There will be touched, back tongue, non-aspirated. If I say this is ka, and this ka can be pronounced in many ways. There are people who are hardly touching, others are very strongly touching, bringing more aspiration to it, and so on and so forth. Those varieties do not change the very idea of ka as that located, that particular way pronounced sound. This is what I want to say. We are now looking at two concepts which are well known in Indian linguistics. It is dhvani and spota. Yeah? Dhvani is the sound which we hear, and spota the sound which we intend to pronounce.
Mm.
And this is kind of important, because what we are doing when we are listening to somebody's speech, we are not hearing how he sounds. Yeah? Though we hear that, of course, and we judge that. But we listen to what he articulates. Yeah? And we re-articulate in our own apparatus the same sounds. That's how we understand others.
Mm-hmm.
If I cannot re-articulate his speech, I would not understand what he says. So
Mm-hmm.
I am automatically re-articulating in my own, subtly apparatus when I listen. And that's how I understand his speech. And I understand that he is deviating in his, articulation, that he is from some region I recognize when he says risi or something.
Yeah, sometimes, I mean, they don't even know the difference at times.
Yeah.
They can't discern.
I think it was Swamiji, and I remember once he said, when he's doing Panini, he talks about the yit instead of the it.
Yeah.
Right? He says, I've never even had a yegg. He's talking about an egg.
Yeah, he's from the south, most probably.
Exactly.
That's it.
Yeah.
Right? Very characteristic.
That's a good observation, Penny. Exactly that.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
then it's more, instead of I, it's much closer to A. It's somewhere in between A and I, and it sounds more like A than I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They think they're saying
The instrumental plural almost sounds like A-he rather than I-he.
Yeah.
Something in between that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there is also mannerism, we should not forget. This specific, thousands of years of manner, of that in particular culture, in particular language. They speak in their native language, Prakrit, and then they come to Sanskrit, all influencing their particular way of pronouncing sounds. Yeah?
But is there agreement, Vladimir?
The agreement is this matrix. This is it. Here it is in front of us. This is the agreement. The rest is slight derivation in every field, and that's how we know what, for example, in dramas, in Kalidasa or whoever, Bhasa, you take dramas and you will be surprised how rich it is, how rich in different languages. They speak different Prakrits, and by Prakrits, we recognize to what dialect, to what social milieu the person belongs. Yes, language was the signature of your upbringing, of your education, of your social belonging, and it is still now. Language was always showing to what nation, to what culture, to what society you belong. Because that articulation, that particular mannerism was giving us the information. That's why dramas are so important. You can hear how these Shudras speak, servants speak, how queen speaks, how kings were speaking in Sanskrit, queens were answering in Prakrit, and they communicate with each other in speaking different languages. It's incredible. They don't speak the same language. They speak many languages and communication is taking place. This is a surprise. So it seems that this mannerism or this prakritism, prakrit means prakritam means the natural way of pronouncing, and Sanskritam is the the fashioned or the perfected way. So when we speak about perfected way is one thing, and when it is slipping into the prakritism, then it is becoming a natural usage of that perfect way of looking at things. Yeah?
Could you compare it to like the English where they say there's the King's English and
something
and
like that?
Yeah. So you have the King's English, and then you have Cockney, and then you have all these other.
Right, and you have all kinds of. When you listen to some English people from Scotland, you would hardly recognize what they.
That's true. Does this extend, to the extent of the Hindi dropping of the, of the final, saying Ram and Ved.
Yes, absolutely. And sometimes they don't drop. Sometimes they drop. Sometimes they don't. It's like sometimes, So, and you don't know when to do. And if you don't drop, they would understand you in the same way. So it's like all very natural, prakritistic, It's naturalism taking over. To the extent you would not believe, when we studied Prakrits in the university, you have to study once Prakrits, how they started. You would see incredible tendencies in different places in different states of India. That Maharashtri Prakrit, for example, is the most radical, because there you drop the consonants intervocal position, they disappear. This is a tendency of any language. It's actually a natural tendency, that in between two vowels, in two vocals, the consonants becomes weaker. So like, I do not know. In English, I can give you, in American English, instead of 20, they say 20. So t disappears because there is a and e at the end. So in between this t, very heavy construction becomes softer, and becomes 20. Yeah. So instead of water, it becomes water. Yeah. There's no more t there in between two vowels. So, and slowly it may disappear altogether. So what Maharashtra Prakrit has is exactly this reductionism. So such words as three a's. First one is long one. It means agata. Yeah. It's I'm telling you, you would be surprised. It's really fun to see what they do. Or kawa. Kawa is Krishna. So you will see the reductionism to its utmost degree.
Wow.
Yeah. And other prakrits have their own. This is the most powerful prakrit, which reduces very. But others like Magadhi, Ardhamagadhi to the north, Bharaj, and I told you that how he appeared in Hindi. It came from Hoti of Hindustani, and Hoti was Bhavati before. So Bhavati, Hoti, he. This is the reductionism of prakrits.
That's amazing.
That's amazing. However, if you're endeavoring to teach Sanskritam, is there still an agreement of what the polished sound would be?
Yes, definitely. And that's why they have sandhis. Sandhis help because sandhis permit the prakritistic way of and then allow it to come back. Yeah? So you have the memory of allowing it to flow and allowing it to kind of reconstruct yourself. So
was that consciously done to do it, that they set it up that way, or just developed?
Probably it was just, since it's reverse engineered from language, that's what the language was doing.
Yeah.
And all the rules came
awareness. Awareness of it. Yes.
Awareness of the flow.
Right.
So they put it that way.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing. I mean, because we don't do that, and I mean, I always talk about, what do you want from me? What do you want from me? Instead of, what do you want from me? What do you want from me? But we would never spell it that way.
No.
If we were looking at it, and what Sanskritam does is they spell it the way it sounds, but they also know what it would have been if you're pronouncing everything properly.
Right.
Yeah, if you look at French, for example, it's very vivid that how much they reduced already. There is hardly any sound there, with so many letters written and hardly any pronounced. So eventually It is true.
I know it's true. It makes perfect sense now that you say it, as far as
I
French.
mean, all you have to do is.
Right. Some other sounds appeared in between, and so what you have something which is the written language is not really corresponding to the spoken at all. Sanskrit has total correspondence. This is the beauty of the language. You would not have it anywhere. In Hindi, you don't have it in Hindi. Hindi, they reduce "a" everywhere, wherever they want, or add it. It doesn't matter. They do not correspond. Only Sanskrit. This is the only language which is totally what is written, that is pronounced. No extras. So that is the perfection also. Yeah, about Prakrits, one can really have fun. We had a teacher from Orissa, and when he spoke English, it was really fun because we couldn't understand him. He was saying like, I forgot. It was really funny. Peace lives in the sea. Peace lives in the sea, and peace was the fish, or something.
Yeah, or food. They say food because they can't.
Food, yeah, food.
Food.
Yeah.
They can't say food.
Yeah, and when
that's not there.
And when they speak in English, you really try to understand them. They're so difficult, like foreign language. Yeah. And at the end of the class, he used to say, "Penis." Penis means finish. Everybody was shocked that we didn't know what to say. Penis. The teacher is impolite. No, P is F, S is Sh, so you never know what is what. Yeah? And they speak Sanskrit in this way also. Risi, it's quite tough to listen to that without only one S for Sh and Sh. In Bengali, it's opposite. Only Sh for S and Sh. Yeah, also. They don't have. They will say for Rasa, they will say Rosho. Rosho.
Wow. Now I have students that have the Rasi. Everything is C.
Oh, this is Orissa. Yes, you can immediately know where they are coming from. Okay, so
I can if I meet somebody who's doing that, and now I can say, "Oh, are you from Orissa?" That would be kind of
yes, absolutely, and you will be surprised that you will be totally correct.
Yeah. That PF thing is a dead giveaway.
Yeah.
If you hear them using a P instead of an F, they're. I mean, that's another one besides the S.
Yes, correct.
What, from Orissa also? Or?
Yeah, from Orissa. Orissa does not have the F sound, so they always pronounce it P. And
I thought no, there isn't any F sound in Sanskrit either.
No, but well, like technically no, but people who, for some reason, and maybe you could say better, Vladimir, that there's they cannot pronounce the F sound.
Oh, so even though it's not in Sanskrit, they could still pronounce it, but they just can't pronounce it, period. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It has, in a way, I think it's, I'm thinking of it as English, and learning English, because of the way their language is structured, they cannot even envision an F, and they cannot. It's something like maybe the Japanese or the Chinese with the R.
Yeah.
It's a similar thing where they just can't wrap their minds around it. And so consistently, they will use the P for F because somehow or other it just goes, it's impossible for them. I don't think I've ever met an Orissi that can say F.
It's a Prakritism. That's kind of preference over thousands of years. It built up this Prakrit, and it's just a habit, nothing else. Of course, one can train to articulate any sound, but they just lazily kind of accept it as it is. And actually, if you come to the south of Tamil Nadu and so on, to finish the topic, they don't have voiced consonants at all. They don't have gagha, jajha, dardha, dadha, babha. They have only kakha, chachha, tatha, ta, tha, pa, pha. So whatever the sound, whenever there is ga, they will put ka. Yeah. So and especially ga, a is following. So ka can sound like ga, nearly like ga. It will be still ka, ga, ga, like this. And if you listen to them carefully, how they speak English, you will notice that they don't have voiced consonants. They would say good boy, good boy. You would see this k and p there. Yeah? No b and no g. They don't pronounce them. The same in Korean. Korean also is built. When I was in Korea, I lived in Korea for 6 months. And I noticed that they don't have voiced consonants and have the same structure as Sanskrit. Yeah? Ka, kha, nga, cha, cha, nya, the same way. Yeah?
Really?
So, yes, it's the same alphabet coming from Sanskrit. But they don't have voiced consonants. And so I was teaching English in a Korean school. I was qualified to do that because they don't speak English at all. You know?
Right.
They don't have English sounds. And so I was teaching them Sanskrit alphabet to learn how to articulate these the voiced consonants. And they've got it. Children got it. They understood the difference between voiceless and voiced and started to use it. It was a big, big shift. Otherwise, they are like chewing. You don't understand what they're saying.
Amazing.
So Sanskrit alphabet is a matrix. It's not really even Sanskrit, you know. It's something else. It's the all possible capacities of our apparatus to pronounce, to articulate distinguished or mentally demarcated purely sounds. How could we distinguish between sounds? So it's ka, ka, kha, ga, gha, nga, and all over the back, ngha, ha, a. There is no other way we can pronounce these sounds. There is nothing additional. There is something additional we can add. What are we lacking here? If you look at this matrix as all possible articulations in our apparatus, what would be missing?
Well, what about Q, qua? Oh no, that would be K, huh?
Yes, it will be a combination of sounds.
Yeah, and what about Z?
Yes, this is what we are missing. We are missing these fricatives, what we have ha, sha, sha, sa, fa, but voiced fricatives. They are not available in Sanskrit. This is ha, ja, ja, za, va. These sounds we don't have. The rest is there. All the rest is there. And why we don't have them, it's a big question. Because most probably because we have ja here. Ja, which is playing this ja, ja. You know, you have either Jean or John. You don't have language where Jean and John would be in the same language. So you have to choose. So je was rejected and je was accepted. I think something of that mysterious thing.
Yeah, somewhere along the line.
Well, you know, if you are pronouncing nya, some people pronounce it shnya, so they almost have that j in there, shnya.
Yeah, jnya is correct, but it's a combination j and nya, jnya.
The nya, the palatal nya plus j. If you make that compound consonant where you just don't go nya because then there's no j there. If you do shnya, then it kind of sounds like a little more like the j sound.
Yeah, well, this is another Prakritism for jnya root, especially. Yeah, jnanam. There is hardly any Indian who can say jnanam. You know, there are no Indians left.
Well, a Frenchman could say that. No, Frenchman could say jnya. Say it that.
But isn't it jna? Isn't that what it really is?
Really, there is j and nya together. Jnya. Yes. So the janati, this is ja from root jnya. Yeah, so only they came together like Rajan and Rajnya. It's quite obvious that it is J and N together.
Yajna.
Yeah, Yajna the same.
Do they
But
say yajna, or do they only say yajna?
they would say everything. Yagnya, Yajja, Yagya, anything but Yajna.
They
So,
don't say yajna. They
Mhm.
don't actually say that?
No.
Okay.
I didn't meet one person in India who would properly say yajna. And if you say the yagya or yajya or yajja even, whatever but yajna. It's quite
Is
interesting
it
that
wrong to say yajna?
yajna is correct.
It is correct.
Yeah.
If you were
Absolutely.
teaching it, how would you say it?
Yajna, of course, j and ya.
So if you're actually teaching Sanskritam, you would say it like that, right?
I would always say yajna, jnana, and people who are from India, they would say yagya, gyana, or whatever.
Right.
That's how we were taught. We were never taught the other.
Which were you taught, Germany?
Like yajna,
Mm-hmm.
jnanam.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you weren't taught yaj.
We weren't taught. What do you call it? I can't even say it. Jnanam. The way you're saying it.
Or yajna. Or
Yeah, we were never.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
knowing. Yeah.
Almost morphing into a GH or something.
Yeah, that's like Hindanized. That's like Northern, because they say yagya.
Yeah, that's how we were. That's I in learning it, and everybody. I mean, I never heard it pronounced any other way within the context of Sanskrit learning, and in terms of the texts, it was always pronounced as jnanam,
Jnanam.
like that.
Jnanam is different than gyanam, which is how it's pronounced in the North.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, because I'm teaching, so I'm trying to tell them that technically it should be shna. That's technically what it is. That's that compound consonant.
Right.
But you're not going to hear it. You're going to hear it in ya.
Yeah.
This is Prakritism, what we had just discussed. Yeah, the Prakritism which settled in pronunciation, but it doesn't mean that Sanskrit behind it, the matrix, is different, is what it sounds. So dhvani, the sound which is sounding, and sound which is to be articulated are two different sounds, and this was distinguished.
And of course, if you see it written, it's written as that compound consonant.
Right, and Sanskrit should not be pronounced differently than it is written. And jña is nothing but j plus ña.
Yeah.
So, well, nobody objected to me that I say jnana or yajna. Everybody kind of appreciates in India, so that must be okay. They would not correct me.
They didn't think you were weird. They just thought, well, this guy is letter of the law.
Yeah, something like that.
Or no, he's foreign.
Yeah,
foreign, exactly.
Yeah, he learned from somebody else, not from us. But I sense this kind of, also inferiority complex about this, because they would correct me if they would be right. They are always correcting you, but not in this case.
They never corrected you when you said that.
No, not in this case.
Okay, that's good to know.
Very interesting.
They know this kind of shortcoming of what they already adopted.
That's cool. I love that. I'll tell my Sanskrit class.
By the way, the same with sha and sha. These two are not distinguished in normal way of pronouncing Sanskrit. I'm not speaking about some tough Brahmins in Gurukulas, but sh, sha, this palatal sh, and sha, cerebral sh with tongue turned, they are not distinguished. Shanti, Shanti, everywhere the same Shiva, Shanti, Krishna, the same sh, only one sh.
Oh, so that's like Krishna and Shanti.
Yeah, Krishna and Shanti, sh, soft sh, Shiva, Shakti, Shanti. And this soft sh is not available. This hard sh is available, and soft is no more. Because most probably it's difficult. In some Prakrits, they make it S even, like Santi or Siva, and you can see it Siva many times instead of Shiva. Mm. So S and Sh, they kind of also merge sometimes with these fricatives, yeah. And there is this Visarga. I will have to finish the differences, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Visarga H and
I love this. It's fascinating.
Yeah, it is.
yeah, H and F Visarga. This is Jihvamulya and Upadhamaniya. So there are two different types. One is back tongue Visarga. It is like Narah Karoti H K, yeah. Narascharati. You see, Visarga changes to Sh. Narashtankam Dadati. So we will change into Sh. Narastishtati changes into S. And Naraf Pathati. Naraf labial Visarga. Yeah.
So there's your F.
There's your F sound.
Yeah,
Yeah.
only at the end, not at the beginning.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Jikwan, is that what's it? That's not Jikwan Mulia, is it?
This is Jihvamulya is this, and this
Oh.
is Upadhamaniya. Yeah?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Mhm. And sometimes they are even drawn differently, written differently in some Samhita texts. They make the distinction, not two dots, but there is also two lines like this instead of two dots. It's quite interesting to see that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what you're talking about, but that's all right.
Well, two dots are read into this, what Visarga is read differently before Ka and Pa. Yeah?
Yes.
Mhm.
It's the F sound. That
Yeah.
Visarga before is the F sound,
Right.
basically.
And some Brahmins are very particular about this. They would insist on the difference of this Visarga. Others do not care.
Yeah. Well, but like in things, I guess it's kind of not exactly the same, but like in the Gayatri mantra, what happens, I find, is that Nah Prachodayat,
Uh-huh.
that a lot of people drop that. So they essentially change the meaning of it because they drop the Visarga altogether.
Mhm.
And they don't pronounce F. There's nothing there, so it becomes Nah Prachodayat in their recitation, which
But then
then
it becomes a negation word.
yes, then it negates it, changes the whole meaning.
Yeah.
And so I'm constantly telling people, hey, make sure you get that in there because it's, otherwise you negate.
Us prachodayat, yes. Ours. So
Yes, exactly.
yeah, absolutely, yes. And some people will say naha prachodayat, others will say nach prachodayat, back tongue, yeah. Others will say naf prachodayat, but naf prachodayat is the rarest one. You will see very few are doing it. Something else I wanted to say about this. Yeah, and this naha, this additional syllable with the visarga, which is created like naraihi, or, where visarga adds one more syllable. Yeah.
Naraha. You do the ach thing so that you don't have to add the syllable.
Yeah, they don't do narach karoti. They would say naraha karoti, naraha. This is an additional syllable which doesn't fit into the poetry, especially if you read, I don't know, Mahabharata, Ramayana. All those visargas do not fit as an additional syllable. They are extra. They are breaking the meter. So it tells us that it wasn't pronounced this way. I think it started only in 20th century, this particular additional ha, yeah? Purushaha. And if you come to to the Sanskrit of Bharati, I'm making fun of them a little bit, though I love them because they speak Sanskrit. But when you hear this, Purushaha, Gacchati, Purushaha Gacchati, then you think, wow, this is going somewhere in a new direction.
Well, I mean, you hear this, of course, I'm constantly combating, and I'm sure you are too, Janani, with Namaha, everybody has their,
Right.
Maha. It's like that's the most important thing.
Yes, it's an additional syllable which takes the biggest stress, they accentuate it.
I tell my students to like swallow it. Namaha. Namaha.
Nama. Yeah,
Make it the softest part. Very close to your Namaha. In fact, I talk about that. That my Sanskrit teacher, Vedic Sanskrit, it's
yeah.
without adding the syllable. Yeah.
Right.
I remember Swamiji doing that one time, and after people chanted the closing chant, Om Shanti, 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 he stopped everybody and did a whole lesson on the, that pronunciation and making it clear that no, this is how it should be said. This is how it should be said.
So what did he do? Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Yeah, abbreviated. Because people were going Shanti or Shanti, 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 and the hush sound was being swallowed in a way. It was merging, and there was no. And he said Shanti, 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 like that.
By the way, you can find texts where the visarga is also assimilated, like shantich, visarga h has to be sh before sh, according to Pratishakyas. So it has to be assimilated with sh. So some texts are even writing in this way, I will find. Shantish, Shantish, Shantish.
Shanti.
Yeah. So like
he doesn't do it that way, Swamiji. He didn't do Shanti. If you're stopping.
He was trying to emphasize that the visarga should not be lost. That's what he was doing.
Right. I see.
That's why he was doing it that way.
My impression is that if you're actually stopping, like in between, like Shanti, then you do Shanti or Shanti.
Yeah.
Yeah, he kind of gets.
If you're merging them, then Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Well, he was, because of the way it was coming out as all sort of one blob, if you will. Shanti, 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 without really demarcating. He was demarcating it because he wanted people to be clear that there's, that aspiration should be there. And that he wasn't encouraging, the merging of the visarga with the sha.
Oh, he wasn't. Okay.
No, he wasn't. He was demarcating it because I think he wanted people to, because I guess it sounded sloppy. There was a sloppiness to the way it was being done, and or that it was mechanical.
Mm-hmm.
That was my impression of it, because he came on very strong about it. He wanted them to hear the visarga and make sure that they understood there was that aspiration was there, so that they, properly paid attention to it, I guess, because it was morphing into a glutinous mass. That's a better way to describe it. Very sloppy, I guess. So
yeah, these two which I typed here, they are both legitimate, absolutely.
Yes, right,
all
right.
Of them.
Yeah, they are. But he in this case, the way it was being done, I think it was, the double sha was somehow or other getting, I don't know, bastardized or something.
Yeah.
It wasn't sounding good, basically.
Okay.
Yes, correct. And the same visarga will change before tu or before s, can be s, assimilated with the same level. So visarga usually is assimilated with the same level, and there is a rule also that visarga can stay before ka, kha, pa, pha, sha, sha, sa. These seven letters. Yeah? Mm-hmm. Before others, visarga will definitely change. But at the same time, there is an option that before sha, sha, sa, visarga will change into sha, sha, sa.
Right. Yeah.
Right. As before cha, ta, ta, the same way.
Yeah. Right.
Mm-hmm. And before ka, kha, visarga is changing into ha, we should not forget. And before pa, pha, visarga is changing into fa. So visarga is constantly changing. So this rule that visarga stays is for writing, not for pronouncing. That visarga will not change before ka, kha, pa, pha, sha, sha, sa. It's only for writing. But for pronouncing, it should change everywhere before every possible consonant. Right, great. This is important. Otherwise, we are kind of bewildered always with visarga. And that's it basically for the differences. And of course, the matrix. The matrix is the most important. That we have some kind of systematic articulations, which are allowing us for the first time to approach consciously our articulations and consciously our etymology. Etymology can become conscious to us. It's not something arbitrary because they called it like, something in the Latin language. That's why it is meaning here in English the same thing. This is on the level of which we have etymology today, that we look at etymons as parents of some new word. So to say, the grandfather of this word was this in Latin, and that's it. We are not digging deeper. We are not looking into why in Latin it means that. So because there is no other evidence.
Right.
And in Sanskrit, because of this matrix, because of this alphabet, we have a conscious system of articulatory devices which allow us to figure out how meanings are derived or created by this system. I would say that this is the first etymological matrix, which creates first meanings, general meanings, and that's what we want to look into. So that's why we looked into a, I, ri, li, u, into these 5 sounds. Here they are. They kind of give, I want to say, they put a stress on this particular general meaning for the whole Varga. If a is this undifferentiated in existence, you could feel it and see it through all these roots which will be here. But this particular way of articulating sound would give us an additional meaning, a general meaning. And so that's what we wanted to look into it today, how it changes with this, with touched Alpa Prana, with touched Mahaprana, with soft or the voiced aspirated, with nasal. What is really added to it, to this particular sthana of articulation of a, undifferentiated? And let us.
Could you talk more about voiced and unvoiced?
Yeah, voiced and voiceless, yes.
So I'm not sure I understand all the implications of that.
Right. You notice that in sandhis, when we have voiced consonants, they, like visarga before voiced consonants, will change ach into o, and ich, uch, ech, och, whatever which is not ach, into r, the same way as it changes before vowels. So like agnir atra or agnir dahati, why? A and d are considered to be the same in this application of visarga, because voiced consonants really have that feature of vowels. And that's, if you look at it closer, we will see that ka, if you examine ka and ga difference, ka, ka, just if you spread very kind of like butter, ka, you will see that the touch is taking place before a is activated, before vocal cords start. Try. You have to try it. It's impossible to know unless you try it. Yeah. You have to spread it like you're spreading time, like making slow motion. Ka, ka. You could feel that the touch already took place before a was coming in. But try with ga. What will happen with this slow motion? I can show you. Ga. ga.
Yeah.
The activation of vocal cords takes place before the touch.
Ka.
Ga. To say ga, you need ga. Ga. You need this before.
Yeah.
Would you say that voiced, if you put your finger on your vocal cords, would you say that ka and ga vibrates the
Ka,
vocal cords
ga.
more?
Yeah, take your throat with two fingers and say ka and ga, and you will feel how vibration before touch ga is taking place.
Ka, ga. There's more vibration in the vocal cords with the voiced.
Not more. It precedes the touch.
Ka, ga, ka, ka, ga.
Ka, ga. For me to say ga properly, ga, I have to do ga before ga.
Ga, ga.
I cannot say ga without vocal cords. Ga, 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 ga. We trained ourselves. We can do it very fast. That's why we don't notice. But if you spread in time and make slow motion, ka, ga, you will hear this ga before touch.
Ga.
So it is ka, but voice precedes, voice as if voice takes that touch into its care, embraces it from all sides. And that's why we have ga. So that's voiced. The voice is there in the touch, and voice is there not in the touch is the voiceless one. So if you, it's very easy to check when you whisper. For example, if you say good boy, and you whisper this good boy without vocal cords, you will get good boy. You will have good boy. So it's because vocal cords are not participating. Unless you whisper with vocal cords, then it's different. Yeah.
Yes, you have to have heightened awareness around that, the way you say it.
Yeah, and that is the significance why Visarga behaves in the same way before voiced consonants and vowels, because vowels are voice, and voiced consonants are also voiced before touch. They are treated as voiced, as if they are vowels in a way. Though they have touch later, they are still having voice preceding them, and that's why Visarga behaves in the same way. It's quite an amazing thing to think of, at least. So, and also, if you look at the semi-vowels, so since we are all about phonetics today, and so you can see that we spoke about them, that they are the closest to the vowels and the most powerful sounds for our roots. But you will see that the biggest number of roots will start, and the most significant using semi-vowels. Yeah. Hayaralava.
Case in point.
Oh, there is, of course, more to say about nasals, but maybe we will do it next time.
Yes, this is wonderful.
Yes,
yeah, this is our basis. It's everything what we have. And later you will see that it all makes sense in the etymological system. Once you see this as the meaningful articulations and how they bring meaning in, then all those contextual meanings can be derived and understood easily.
Do we have this in that longer document that we sent, or do we not have this?
This one, I do not know. Maybe you don't have them.
We have this. Could you send this?
Yes, I created this file 25 years back, something.
Oh my God. Yeah.
But this is all about
especially
phonetics.
Yeah, I like this.
But you know, the etymology, the longer document, that's you know what you were talking about today with and the Sri Aurobindo explaining the etymons and the, you know, derivation is of it dovetails with what you're saying here.
Right.
It's described
I
there.
like this table. I especially like this table.
Yes, if we have to look from the perspective of this table into what Sherbindo will be telling us, yeah?
Yeah.
Because the modulations will change the meaning, but something essential, something fundamental will stay. And that if we recognize it in our mind, we are set for understanding of etymology in Sanskrit. That
Cool.
fundamental thing, has to be seen or felt or understood.
We're taking as far back as we can possibly take it.
Yeah.
And you can't take it any further.
Yes, I guess
Going all
not.
the way to the root of the matter.
Right, right. All right, let's stop here for today. I will close with a mantra. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Hari Om.
I'm so glad I woke up.
So are we. So are we.
So nice.
Yeah.
All right. See you then. Yeah,
Thank
all
you,
the best.
Vladimir.
Yeah,
All right.
thank you.
Bye. See
Bye.
you tomorrow.
Bye. Yep. Take care.